Did you hear the one about the happy crabs in the pot? So they take all these crabs and they kind of put them in a pot of water. So, the crabs are in the pot of water, and, they're like clunking around, swimming around, whatever it is crabs do in the water. And slowly they start turning up the heat. But the crabs don't notice it because they're just too busy in the water splashing around, stuff like that. Eventually, the water gets so hot the crabs can't stand it, but the pot is too big and they can't get out. And then the water's just boiling up, stuff like that. And by the time they're like, oh my God, I need to get out of here, the next thing they know, they're on a plate getting dipped in butter. That's kind of what's happening right now in the United States. So a lot of people who are still saying, you know what, I don't really follow the news, I don't like negative news, this is too stressful, so I'm going to look at something else. I'm going to look at Jeopardy, I'm going to look at the ball game, and they're not paying attention until this situation reaches a point that it reaches them. By the time the pot boils over, it might be too late. So my question is, where do you reach your boiling point? When they, so you can say, well, that's just happening in Minnesota, or that's happening in Chicago, or that's happening in Miami, or that's happening in Los Angeles or Texas, or something like that. But when do you personally reach, what is your boiling point? When do you realize the water is starting to get too hot and feel like you need to do something about it? What you do about that, it's up to you, but you gotta do something more than just sit there and let it happen. They're turning up the heat. They're turning up the heat. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when they pick up your friends? What are they gonna do when they pick up one of your relatives who in fact is a citizen? Because they're taking citizens, they're beating citizens too. What are you gonna do?